Everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Kassandra. This is Luna and Kitkat. I guess they're joining us today for our practice. This is really a balancing flow. So if you're trying to increase your balance, we're going to do a lot of those poses today. There are also a lot of poses that are going to help strengthen the lower body. So a lot of like glutes and quads and hamstrings strengthening poses. Probably more intermediate leveled. However, if you're a beginner and you're looking to challenge yourself, this is a great class to start to incorporate, and you never know, you might surprise yourself. I'm not using any props, and we're going to begin right away in tabletop pose, so just on hands and knees. And part of learning to balance is learning how to distribute your body weight properly. So in tabletop pose, focus on spreading the fingertips really wide, and rather than having all of the weight sinking into your wrists, I want you to shift it forward a little bit more into your fingertips and knuckles. We're also trying to draw the lower belly in so that we really have a flat back here. And all you're going to do is focus on shifting the weight without losing the compromise of the alignment here and the pressing into your fingertips and knuckles. So go ahead and extend your right arm, bicep along the ear, thumb pointing up. Draw the lower belly in and keep pushing into your left fingertips. And then go ahead and set that right hand back down, coming back to neutral. Next, go ahead and reach your right leg up and back. Roll that right hip down so that your thigh, your knee, your toes pointing towards the floor. And notice how the tendency is to drop the stomach down, pull it in, and use glute strength and hamstring strength to keep that leg up. Go ahead and bring that right knee back in, and we go towards our left leg. Stretching it up and back, roll it down. Notice where your weight is going through your hands. Try to lighten it from the wrists. Really push into those fingertips. Keep your elbows straight. And bring that left knee back in. And now this time our left arm reaches forward. Bicep along the ear. Shrug the shoulders away from your ears so you're not shortening through your neck. And release left hand back down. Go ahead and just set your hips towards your heels. And we're just going to do kind of like a circular churning motion. This is similar to a cat and cow, but we're tracing it in big circles. So there's really no right or wrong way to do this one. Just imagine you're trying to trace big circles with your rib cage. Just a really nice way to warm up the spine and get some of those essential spinal movements before we get into our poses. And you can reverse and go in the opposite direction. This is what we would call circumduction. It's rotation around the axis. Take one more. And we'll find our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hands are shoulder width distance apart. Again here, spread the fingertips wide, tuck your toes under, and go ahead and lift your hips up and back. The emphasis here is on pushing our chest towards our thighs, so lengthening through our arms. If that means you need to bend into your knees, that's totally fine. They don't need to be straight, and it does not matter if your heels are not touching the mat. Now see if you can challenge yourself a little bit in downward dog and come up onto your right fingertips. So just like what we were doing in tabletop pose. And now drop that right hand down. Go ahead and reach your right leg up. And set the right foot back down. Left leg rises. And set it back down and come up onto your left fingertips. And the palm comes flat to the floor. Let's reach that right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Just get a nice big thigh stretch here before coming to our high lunge. Step that right foot forward in between the palms to the top of the mat. Feet are hip width distance apart as you lift on up. So staying really stable and strong through your lower body. Think of lengthening tailbone down, drawing the navel in. As you exhale, you're going to tilt forward and reach your arms back. Inhale, come all the way back into your high lunge. Exhale, tilt forward, find a diagonal line. Last one like this, inhale up. And exhale to tilt. From here, let's find our warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. I'm kind of in my plant, so I'm gonna move back. You're balancing on your right leg. And that same thing here, we're trying to keep an internal hip rotation. So the top of my left thigh, my knee, my toes are all pointing down towards the floor. And you can do any arm variation that you'd like here. So you can keep your hands at the heart. Try not to dig your toes in the floor. Instead, push down through all 4 corners of that right foot. Coming into our standing pigeon pose, you're going to lift all the way up, cross your left ankle over the top of your right knee, and sink your hips down. So my hips are moving back as my chest extends and reaches forward, getting that nice big glute stretch right here. Straighten the leg. We're not done yet. Keep balancing on that right leg. Bring your left knee up in with you and let's add a twist. So my right hand is going to grab a hold of my left knee and I'm going to open my left arm out to the side. So hip bones face forward and chest faces the long side of your mat to the left. Utkatasana, chair pose, big toes together, heels apart. Bend both knees this time, sink your weight back into your heels. And right away, we're gonna bring our hands together at the front of the heart, adding our twist from here. So my left elbow is going to come to the top of my right knee. Notice if this makes your knee come forward, shift that left one back. So a big twist here, and this is really just for a transition to work on our balance a little bit more. See if you can lean on your right leg and kind of like a little flamingo, you're gonna pick that left leg and left foot up. And as gracefully as possible, you're gonna step that foot back so that you're in your lunge with a prayer twist. So find the stability through the legs a little bit here. Looking down to the mat to help you with balance. Let's find 3-legged dog. So hands come down to the floor. Stretch that right leg all the way up and back. Open up that thigh again. And before we do this on the other side, let's find our pigeon pose just to release those glutes. So right knee goes behind your right wrist. Stretch that back leg behind you. And maybe take a moment here just to find a little back bend as you open through your heart. And exhale to fold. 5 deep breaths here. You can go as low or stay up as high as is appropriate for your body today. Just looking to stretch out through our right hip and into that right thigh after all of those standing poses. One more big belly breath. And you can start walking your hands in. So we're lifting the chest up first. We all meet in downward facing dog, tucking the toes back and stepping that right foot back. If you'd like, you can take your flow from here. So adding a vinyasa, we inhale forward, plank pose. Exhale to lower. Bhujangasana cobra. And downward facing dog. So holding from your down dog, just building on to what we did the first time. This time, come up onto your left fingertips. And if you're able to, see if you can hover and just lift that left hand off the mat. And bring the palm back down. Left leg rises. If you'd like to add on, also at the same time, lift your right hand. So a 2-legged down dog. And drop both the hand and the foot back down. Right leg stretches up to the sky. Once more, left arm lifts up, or you can just come up onto your fingertips if that feels better. Releasing back down, right arm lifts up. And set the right palm down, reach your left leg up, bend your knee, open up your hip, big stretch here. We're coming to our high lunge. Left foot forward towards the top of the mat. Make sure your feet are hip width distance apart rather than being one in front of the other. This will make balancing a lot easier. And as I'm sinking my hips down, I'm going to keep my shoulders directly over my hip bones before extending my arms up. So this is my inhale. On the exhale, my arms go back, my chest leans forward. Inhale, push into the floor to come back up. Exhale, tilt. Last one like this, inhale. And exhale. And use this pose to push off of the back leg to find Virabhadrasana 3, your warrior 3. So I'm rolling my right hip down, balancing on that left foot and left leg, any arm variation that you'd like. Try to stretch through the back of the knee. Into your standing pigeon pose. So you're going to come all the way up and cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee. Send your hips back as you sink down. Chest leans forward. And we're not done yet. We are adding our twist. So you're going to press to stand. Bring that right knee up with you. Bring your left hand to your right knee. Open that right arm, reaching towards the back of your mat. Facing forward, chair pose, Utkatasana, big toes together, knees apart, sink down low, rock most of your body weight back into your heels. And we're going to bring our hands together. Rotate so that you can bring your right elbow to the top of your left knee and shift your right knee back if it's moved. This is really meant just to help us transition into our prayer lunge twist. So as you lean onto your left leg, see if you can squeeze and pick up that right foot. So like this little flamingo stance. And as lightly as possible, you're going to step that right foot back. Find your twist a little bit here. So try to lift your belly off of that front thigh. Probably feeling it burn through that left leg. Look down towards the floor. Frame your front foot. Three-legged dog. Left leg stretches all the way up and back. Bend your knee, open your hip. Pigeon pose on this side. So left knee goes behind your wrist. Stretch that leg back behind you. And just take a moment just to find a little back bend, pushing into the floor to lift up through your heart. And exhale to fold. 5 deep breaths here. Try to let gravity do most of the work for you here, so you're not struggling against the pose. One more deep belly breath. And we'll lift ourselves back up. We're coming to downward facing dog, where you can take a vinyasa, or you're welcome to leave it out. But just take a breath or two, just really stretch out in downward dog. And then if you want to take the flow, we go from plank to chaturanga to the back bend of your choice. Downward facing dog. This is our last downward dog, so see if you can reach back and stretch through your arms a little more. Wide like a child's pose, big toes together, knees as wide as you would like them to be, as much as is comfortable. Press your hips back and fold on down. Slowing down your breath as a way to slow down your heart rate. And let's walk our hands in to lift the chest. And you can just roll, make your way onto your back, pull both knees in towards your belly. Maybe rocking a little bit side to side. We'll take a spinal twist before coming into Shavasana, so you can bring your feet flat to the floor. I like to just open my arms into a little cactus shape here. Both hips can go over to the right, and then your knees drop down over to the left. Try to push down into that right shoulder blade. So my right hip and my right shoulder are moving away from one another. Inhale, float the knees back up, and we'll switch sides. So you can shift your hips over to the left this time and drop the knees over to the right. Press down through your left shoulder. We'll be making our way into our final pose, coming into Shavasana. Lift your legs up. Just realign yourself so you're straight on the mat. And you can open up arms and legs. Just get really comfortable here. Shrugging your shoulders down and away from your ears. Closing your eyes. Really letting go of any tension that you might still be holding on to in your body. We give ourselves these last few minutes of silence and stillness as a way to really process and integrate all the work that we've done. I really do recommend that you don't skip this final resting pose. Just enjoy your time here for a few more minutes. Reawaken by deepening your breath. Moving a little. And you can reach your arms up overhead, stretching out long. And you can roll to one side, come on up to take a seat. Sitting up tall, hands at your heart. Close your eyes once you're there and comfortable. And to close our practice together, let's inhale to chant Om one time. Breathe in. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this balancing flow with me. I would love to know how this one went for you, so do leave me a comment down below. If you have other suggestions or recommendations of classes that you would like to see from me, also let me know. I like to keep a running list and I slowly work my way through it. Please subscribe if you don't already, and hopefully we'll practice again together very soon.